The queen rushed to her baby daughter's crib, and when she looked at her, she leapt back in horror. Uncle Rudolph told Marie. The king mouse had changed her beautiful little daughter into an ugly creature. "Oh, how terrible! Do go on, Uncle," said Marie. Well, the grief-stricken queen called all the wisest men in the kingdom together and asked them all to study their magic books very carefully. The poor queen was desperate for them to find a way of breaking the Mouse King's spell. It took many months of searching through hundreds of books before a wise old magician found the page that said, "How to break a spell that's been cast by a Mouse King." The clever magician who found this page read it out to his colleagues. "A golden nut tree must be found, and one of its nuts must be picked," he said. "Then you must find a boy who has never shaved or worn boots, and he must crack open the nut and give it to the poor princess. As soon as she eats it, the Mouse King's spell will be broken." So, continued Uncle Rudolph, the wise men searched, the queen searched, everybody in the kingdom searched, but the nut tree was not easy to find. It was only after many years of searching that the wise men found a golden nut tree in the kingdom of Norimberga. In this strange faraway land lived an old shoemaker, and the nut tree was growing in his garden. In fact, he didn't know what all the fuss was about when the wise men came to look at it. "Oh, it's been there for years," he said. Then he told them that years ago a shower of nuts fell from its branches, and all were cracked except one. The old shoemaker had kept this nut as a keepsake. "Hurrah, hurrah, they found the nut!" cried Marie. "Shush, do let me continue," said Uncle Rudolph. So he went on with the story. But remember, my dear, they still had to find the young man who had never worn boots or shaved. High and low, they searched for the young man. And just as they were about to give up, they remembered the shoemaker had a son. "He was the boy they were after," said Uncle Rudolph. So all the magicians went straight back to the shoemaker's cottage. The son followed the magicians and his father back to the princess's palace, and they introduced him to the king.
"Welcome, my boy,"
said the king.
"You are our only hope of saving the princess."
The whole court was keen to get the princess back to normal again, so the magicians told the boy to crack the nut immediately. With a single blow of the hand, he cracked the nut in two. Straight away, he gave the broken nut to the princess, and she turned into a beautiful girl. The Mouse King was furious when he found out that the boy had broken the spell, so he turned him into a wooden nutcracker that looked just like a prince. The Nutcracker prince fell in love with the princess and asked her to marry him. But the princess then declared that she couldn't possibly marry a nutcracker, continued Uncle Rudolph. "Oh, the poor boy," said Marie. "He saved the princess, and then she says she's not interested in a simple nutcracker."
"Yes, it's very sad," said Uncle Rudolph. "But I am pleased that you have the nutcracker now. I know you will treat him kindly. Now, Marie, the story is over, and you must go to sleep. For tomorrow is Christmas Day, and there are many presents left to open."
"Good night, Uncle Rudolph. Good night, Father," said Marie. Then she put the nutcracker beside her bed. "There, you poor thing. I would have married you," she said, and she stroked his head. But as Marie was just drifting off to sleep, the nutcracker came to life, and before her eyes he started to turn into a handsome prince.
"You've broken the spell," he said. "As a reward, I would like to take you to the land of sweets." Then the prince whisked Marie out of her bedroom and onto a golden sleigh that was waiting outside. The sleigh seemed to fly through the air. When they reached the land of sweets, the sugar plum fairy and delicate flowers and instruments danced and played. "Oh, I wish this night could last forever," said Marie. "Sadly, we must go now," said the prince. So Marie waved goodbye to everyone in the land of sweets. "Oh, what a lovely dream," said Marie when she woke up the next morning. But when she rubbed her eyes, she realized it hadn't been a dream. The prince was kneeling down in front of her. "Will you marry me?" he asked. "Yes," said Marie. The prince smiled. "The land of sweets will always be our secret." And when the wedding ceremony took place, they were delighted to see a little sugar plum fairy on the top of the cake. Perhaps somebody did know their secret after all.
Thank you.